I am risking $182 to make $800 plus on this trade. That's a 443% gain. Let me show you my thought process. What's up, homie? This is Howie. I'm a principal AI engineer with a PhD in physics. Welcome back to Howieverse, where investing is driven by data. In this video, I will show you my thought process on this one trade that made me 443% gain on Spirit Airline. Let's get to it. First of all, everything that I talk about here is definitely not financial advice. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I'm just going to share you my thought process. So on September 4th last year, I bought Spirit Airlines stock after they filed for their second Chapter 11 or the restructuring of debt on the premise that they will be able to turn around. So I bought here at around 35 cents. I really think that this company has 1% chance of survival. 1%. So I'm not going to risk a lot of capital here. Essentially, I show in the earlier the video that was about like $200 of capital, but I will take a chance on the premise that a turnaround like Hertz. If you remember Hertz back in 2021. So this is Hertz back in 2021. So what happened during this 2020 period? Everyone knows what's going on. And essentially, Hertz has to file for bankruptcy because of the global pandemic that was happening back then. And there's essentially no demand for traveling. So, what they have to do is that they have to restructure the debt, basically file for Chapter 11. But ever since then, the company has recovered. And at the highest here is at $35. And also the highest point over here is at $46. And it's coming from this drop all the ways to pennies, right? I think at the lowest point over here, it could be around 40 cents, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, about 40 cents. If I were to bought it here, 40 cents go up over here, that's 6,000% gain, right? And if we scroll it all the way up here, that's 8,000, 9,000% gain. So essentially, in English, this is just basically saying if you invested $200, that will give you that's a return of about 10,000 to $20,000. Okay, we're back to Spirit, right? And at one point when this is first conceived, all the way to the top over here, this started at $13, right? And in the matter of few days, right, or to a week or something like that, it just dropped all the way to like 30 cent. And I essentially bought it around over here. And if we look at the range over here from the 18 cents to 36 cents, there is a lot of 100% turnaround, right? So for example, over here, if I were to just test it over here and I just say that, hey, it's going to bounce from here to over here, that is 100%. And then again, it happens again from here, and then I could just sell it over here around 122%, right? And so essentially there are like twice that the stock just touched the bottom here at 18 cents, and it just covering up to the 36 cents. Then essentially I sold it over here at $1.90 on April 22nd, 2026. So that is about 7 months waiting period that turns the $200 to $800 something. That is a 442% gain. And if we look at what's happening here, actually, this candle is the start of the breakout. There's a news coming out. Trump wants to rescue 14,000 jobs through Spirit bailout. That is urging somebody to buy the company. In If we look really carefully of what's happening into this price action, it's going to shock you. Now we're on the 1 hour candle, and this 1 hour candle, this the first candle over here is telling you the breakout, right? So on the hindsight, I could have waited just for this breakout, just monitoring this Spirit Airline, and essentially on the second bar of the breakout, I would just wait it when it's open on the second bar just to make sure that this is not a fake out. And essentially, I could just serve this. And what's happening over here, why this is a breakout, if you look at this blue line over here, this blue line is the moving average, 10 days moving average, and it broke out the 10 days moving average. That means that the stock has a lot of momentum, that it wants to go to the upside. And if you look at for the several days after this breakout, it's just serving above the 10 days moving average. And on the hindsight, I could have bought over here and then get out over here. So that is basically the candle that broke below the 10 days moving average. And ever since then, it's getting harder to recapture that. And there is also another momentum over here. So that is the first breakout. Waited for the second days, and then got out there. So there are two instances that could have made 200% and then 21% here. So this is essentially just swing trading, right? So I'm not investing in this company. The fundamentals of the company is really bad. If we look at the overview here, where the market capitalization is at $30 million, at one point when it was trading at 18 cents, you could buy the entire Spirit company with a few $1 million, right? And then if we look at the statement for the balance sheet, and this company has negative $2 billion in equity, and also they have $1.2 billion in debt. So this company is in trouble, in so much trouble that it is not like Hertz back in the day when they restructure. The company could essentially operate, but this is so deep in the hole of debt that it's just not going to get out. That's why I'm just saying, when the stock go back up here and I look at for the momentum, it feels like there is a lack of buyer when it was over here, and I really thought that at $2 is going to stop, and that is the highest point. And obviously I was wrong, but I was pretty happy about the exit price at around $1.90. So yeah, never look back. And I believe that what's happening over here is that the run is done, right? Why the run is done. And this is essentially the education that I would like to propagate in this channel, is that hey, this channel is just making the thought process and look at the chart and essentially look at the data. What's happening here? Look at this. It is serving on the low over here in the tight range, and what's happening on the tight range here is that it's making a higher low. So you get a low over here, and then a higher low over here, and then a higher low all the way to this region. And what's really tight is that if you draw this one here, right, that is a very tight range of this flag. And this flag essentially telling you there's a chance that the stock wants to go higher, but it didn't happen, right? So if you look at this one, this is trading above the 10 days moving average, and then it broke down. I was really waiting for this candle over here. Over here, the next day it should go up. It should go up over here, but it didn't happen. It just went back down all the way to the bottom of the moving average again. And since then, it has been serving below the moving 10 days moving average. And that is really bad for the stock. That means the momentum is done. And lo and behold, it is actually done. Spirit is winding down all operation, and it gives the gas on not to go to the airport or the information about the refund status and stuff like that. So here it is. Spirit Airlines ceased operation after escalating financial struggle, and I think the stock is done and the momentum is dead. And it is a great disappointment. On May 2nd, 2026, Spirit Airlines started a orderly wind down of our operation effective immediately. I'm not sure where this is gonna go, but there's like 99.99999% that this stock or the Spirit airline company is just permanently go out of business. And there is one thing that Trump said, actually, here it is. If we can help, we will, but we have to come first. We are first, Trump said. So I'm not sure what that means, but the thing is that with the stock is done, I got a lot of education out of it. And essentially, I give my thought process on how to process this to gain 400% in gain. It might not happen all the time, but it's just a matter that first, I learned three things out of this. The first really important things that came out of this trade is that risk management. The risk management is really, really important. That's why I only risk $200. It's like 0.001% of my entire account. And the reason why is that I do not want to blow up my account. I do not want that greed. I have to control it. The second thing is the patient to wait for the price to came in, because I bought way back there, way back there. I could have just judged where the stabilization of the price, where you see the range of the price went from 18 cents to 36 cents. So I could just wait it over there and then see where this is going, instead of like jumping it in right after the stop, where I believe there was the stop, but it's not really the stop. In conclusion, I hope you learned something out of my mistake. And essentially, I would have be more patient with the price action to see where the stop is going to be. And also, I'm really happy with my risk management, that I didn't FOMO into this drop and then just all of a sudden that it's going to be like Hertz. It's not. I was wrong there. And essentially, this is the lessons that I take from this trade. I'm happy that I could get out of this trade with a really momentum stock that is trading all the way to 443% gain. Nevertheless, the more important of all of this is the lessons. And if you think the education from this video where you can learn from it, please hit the like button down below. And if you like more analysis video like this, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.